I think we are live. What's going on, Project Atticus people?
Woo! Who's with us tonight?
Yeah, so let's see. We've got Chad Saxton, Steve Burdett, Robert Miller, Andrew Catron, Vivi Darling.
Noah Ramos, Mark Colchin, Steve Burdett. I think you already said some of these.
Bushcraft, Ohio, Rusty Comer, Sharon Gladwin, Joshua Koski, Doug at Caledonia Sound and Recording Studio.
Nice. That's awesome. So we are actually in Florida right now visiting our parents for the holidays for a couple of days. And they got us these matching Christmas pajamas.
Right before we started, I was telling Desiree, I was like, we got to explain what's up with this. She's like, what do you mean?
Why? There's nothing weird about this.
What's weird about that? Oh, and then we have these. My mom, this was her idea. Thanks, Mom. These are really very good.
You have a little tree back there all lit up.
Oh, yeah, the tree. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hope you guys are having a good kind of this is like T+1 days for holidays 2020. So happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah. And for those of you who got to see the cool stars tonight, how dope is that?
Yeah. The Jupiter Saturn thing. My dad just had the telescope out, and we were able to see the actual moons of Jupiter.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Super cool.
Yeah. Oh, you got your brother in the house, Tommy and Viola.
Cushy pushy.
Yeah, we got
Vega.
Hector Vega, Richard Magnuson,
Jeff
Norman
Owens.
Laundrie, Court Jester, Hector Perez, Philip Asherson, John Norden. What's up, buddy?
Up?
Okay, so yeah, we're talking about a lot of fun stuff today, but I think number one that we need to tackle here is talk about how amazing you guys are. Like, the Kickstarter campaign just blew up.
Yeah.
It totally surpassed our expectations, and we are so, just completely humbled and really appreciate the huge amount of support that you guys came out with. So.
Yeah. And special thanks to our patrons who got us almost halfway to our mark within the first couple of days during our pre-launch.
I think it was more than halfway in 48 hours.
It was amazing. And we were traveling back to the States, so whenever we could get internet, I was like, refresh. Oh my God, refresh. Oh my God.
Yeah, so this is just, that means so much to us, and it means a lot to Project Atticus, because that means that, we officially are going to be able to make our way into this next chapter. And the boat hunt is officially on.
Yeah.
We do want to just explain the Kickstarter has another 30 days or something that it's going to be running. If you haven't checked it out yet, definitely check it out. We've got really cool rewards, and we just want everybody to be a part of it. And just so you know, every dollar that gets into that Kickstarter campaign goes towards Atticus II. And so at this point, we set that $50,000 mark to basically be able to get the bare minimum of what we're hoping Atticus II can be, and every dollar above that, more or less, just make sure that Atticus is going to be in better condition, right? So we're still looking for a 37 to 40 foot sailboat, modest blue water boat. More money we're able to fundraise, the better condition the boat's going to be in, the more adventuring we're going to get to do, the more time we're going to be able to spend making content. So that's the plan, and we're really excited about it, and just as we said, really, really just in awe of your guys' support. So thank you.
Thank you. It's funny, I never realized how much I nod, but I'm just like, nod,
and
nod,
now you
nod.
know. Now you know. Yeah. It's like, where'd Desiree go? Oh, yeah.
She's right here.
She's right there. Yeah.
And also, we have a special giveaway tonight to help fundraise for Atticus II, which is...
very exciting. Am I going to wear it? Are you going to wear it?
You can just grab it.
Okay, so, boom. The Guatemalan cowboy hat is going to be given away tonight to the person with the largest super chat or PayPal donation. So within the live stream, the person with the highest PayPal or super chat donation will be winning the famous Guatemalan cowboy hat. So I'm very sad to be saying goodbye to it, but it's for a good cause. All of the money, first of all of the super chats and PayPal donations during the live stream will be going toward Atticus II as well. As well as getting Desiree some bigger, brighter, fancier, light-up Christmas antlers. But, So, very exciting. Anybody who wants to, I mean, if you want to impress your friends down at your local square dancing bar, this is going to be the way to do it. I'll tell you that.
Yep, you don't even have to know how to dance. Just put that bad
Just
boy
put that on.
there.
Everyone's like, dang, look at that dude. Just stand in the middle of the dance floor. Be like, that's right.
Okay, next important matter of business is what will our drinking word be for tonight? Obviously, extrusion. So happy extrusion, all of you. And then we're thinking maybe boat.
Boat.
What do you guys think? Any suggestions for the drinking word for tonight? Let us know.
I feel like boat is pretty appropriate.
Or Pacific Sea Craft, because I feel like we'll say that maybe at least 60 times. So bring your livers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, as Brad Scott says, we've been training for this. There he is right there. Dave, hope all is well. Oh, yeah, and we haven't even said Dave, DV Zyre in the house.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you for moderating, as always.
As always.
All right, so, guys, bring on the questions. We're basically going to be doing an open forum, mostly talking about this transition, about the episode, about, you know, the boats that we're going to be looking for in the next coming weeks.
Someone was asking if we sailed back to the United States. And no, we left Atticus in Shelter Bay Marina, and our plan is to boat hunt for the next month, hopefully find Atticus II, and then fly back to Panama City, and get all of our stuff off of Atticus, and hopefully find a new owner for little Atticus. And we are thinking about raffling off Atticus, so stay tuned for that, but that will probably be in about a month. Yeah.
Sorry, Patrick Itaji says, I have a cowboy hat. I want reindeer ears.
Oh, yeah, we can raffle these babies off.
You have the option. If you win, you can request the reindeer ears.
Why don't we do a giveaway for my reindeer hat and then do the highest donor for this bad boy?
Sure. Sounds good.
Okay.
That works.
All right, so we'll do giveaway on the side.
Although I think people prefer it when you wear the cowboy hat.
Yeah, should we switch?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to switch, but if you want Desiree to put the reindeer ears back on, you just let us know.
I could probably do both.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, do they bend up? Oh, I wish they bent more.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool.
Look at that.
All right. So let's jump into it. So first of all, you know, somebody was asking us earlier, you know, we've gotten a couple people requesting us to say how we actually found out about the termite damage in the bulkhead in the first place.
Great question.
And it's a good question because we sort of watched the episode afterwards and we're like, we never really addressed that.
What's funny about that episode is we hadn't planned on any of that happening. So we had content of going through the Panama Canal with some friends. We had content of like Halloween and a couple other little trips, like going into town to get Jordan's passport renewed. But once we figured out the problem with the bulkhead, we just switched gears and went straight for bulkhead mode. So in that process, we kind of forgot to include the footage about what we were doing when we found it. Yeah, so
long story short, you may remember that there's plumbing, like toilet plumbing on the main bulkhead in the head. And that's all just kind of screwed to the bulkhead. And I was replacing one of the hoses. As well as the Y valve.
So big.
The Y valve for the head had died. And so I was switching that out. And in doing so, as I was kind of screwing it back in, the screwdriver slipped off of the screw and then hit the bulkhead and like punched into it. And I was like, that's not good. And that's, you know, long story short, that's it. Then I just kept kind of punching holes and realizing that there was a lot of damage. Yeah. So, and it is kind of amazing that we never found that before. We've had some people kind of question how we, you know, didn't find that in our initial survey of the boat. But you don't really like attempt to punch holes in bulkheads, right? Like,
although I'm bringing a screwdriver with me for the boat hunt. I'm be like, do you mind if I just? You don't mind, right?
Like you can say that, but like the moment you go towards it, like, dude, what are you doing? You're like, I'm just gonna see if I can punch through it. You know, like, that's cool, right? So it's there's a, how do you say it? Like, it's hard to survey boats completely in a non-destructive way, like in a way that you're not gonna you can guarantee that you won't do any damage to the boat. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's how we never found it. We found a lot of problems with the boat when we first bought it.
And
You know, we bought it for $5,000 and we paid too much for it for sure. So
my favorite line from I think it was episode 2 or 3 when we bought Atticus was, remember there was a little bit of damage to the bulkhead and the bilge.
yeah.
And Jordan was so worried, and he was like, I don't know how we're going to fix this. And now we look back at it, and we're like, oh, it's just some fiberglass.
Yeah. Ugh,
Yeah.
big learning curve.
Learned a lot.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we got what we thought we were getting, which was a huge project boat. So
Yeah.
no surprise there.
Yeah.
But okay, so moving on, some people are just asking for, just generally what kinds of boats are we looking for. The big ones on our list right
A
now.
couple thank yous before you go to that topic.
Yes, sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Timothy Simmons. Thank you, Brad Scott. Thank you, Adam Pierce. Scott Gope. Sorry if I butchered your name. Thank you, Sailing SV Someday. She says, I want to become Mr. Hat. How do I do that? Thank you, Rum Around. Great name. Thank you, Norm Landry, Zach, Hugo Lemoyne.
Christine Rodway, James Stewart, Brittany Lauren, and Juan Andrade. Okay,
Awesome.
thanks, guys. So we are looking at 3 boats that we're really, really serious about, and then about 7 that are definitely on the list. The 3 that are really serious is the Pacific Seacraft 37. That's been on the top of the list for a while now. We're also looking at a Robin Hood 40, which is a really unique boat. It's kind of a semi-custom boat made by the Robin Hood Yard that was owned by Cape Dory. And they did like more or less 2 boats a year kind of thing. So it was on a semi-custom basis. And then also the Najad or Najad, Najad 350. I'm sorry, 370. The Najad 370. We're looking at one of those pretty seriously. Now, very much so, still on our list, just not so much at the top of our minds, is the IP Island Packet 350. We're looking at a Tiana 42, Tiana Vancouver aft cockpit 42. Looking at a Passport 40, I believe. Looking at a, gosh, now Desiree's getting me going, and I'm like forgetting some of them on the list, I'm sure.
That's all right. But like basically we're looking for a boat that's, seaworthy, that sails well, and that's, comfortable enough to have a family on. The Pacific Seacraft 37 doesn't have a separate aft cabin. It just has that berth back there.
Yeah, in fact, Sue Peck just said the PS37 is small for kids.
Yeah.
And that would be in a way, we're dealing with a spectrum here. I guess you could call it a spectrum where the spectrum goes one way where we have more room in the interior for living space and more family friendly, you could say. But when you do that, you typically, at the same price point, are going to lose sailing ability, right? Because that space, that volume comes at a price. The other direction, you increase the sailing ability of the boat by, in a lot of ways, decreasing the interior volume. And again, this is a function of price. So you could really consider it like a triangle, but we're trying to peg the price in place, right? Not move that. And so we're kind of adjusting this slider down here. And so, yeah, the Pacific Seacraft 37, small on the inside-ish, comparatively, but, like, we can afford a PS37 in better shape or in better condition than we could, say, like definitely, the boats that are in the 40-foot range that we're looking
And
at.
another thing that I really like about the PS37 is that the chain plates are outboard. So as far as, minimal maintenance or just being able to see them and know if there's a problem, having gone from having chain plates that are glassed into the deck, like, that was kind of a nightmare. It'd be nice to try to avoid that. So the Pacific Seacraft, we have to sacrifice on, like, comfort on the interior, but we'd be kind of getting a little bit ahead on the, maintaining the seaworthiness of Atticus.
Yeah, and the chain plates is just like one small example, but yeah, like over 20, 25, 30 years, inboard chain plates can definitely leak. I mean, it's very, very common for them to leak. And so if they're not resealed regularly and taken care of really well, then you can have a problem over 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And so that's just one small example where the PS37 is going to be in that, like, probably easier to maintain, and because of that, over 20, 25 years, there will be less damage that it's sustained. Now, this is all in theory. Most likely what's going to happen is we're going to buy a boat and be like, oh, man, we didn't see this. And, like, they'll have all kinds of problems. But, like, you got to have some kind of a methodology, and that's what ours is.
And this time around, we've incorporated into the cost surveying the boats that we're really serious about, which wasn't incorporated into our initial purchase of Atticus. I mean, we actually did get Atticus surveyed when we bought it, but it was just some guy in Key West who, you know, it was okay. Yeah. So we got a couple different, people having some ideas here. We've got. Oh, sorry. I got a question. WC Tar Heel is asking, are you guys sticking with a monohull, or are you thinking about a catamaran?
Definitely sticking with the monohull, and I say that because specifically, I mean, this is a debate that could, we could easily do more than one live stream on, but in the brief of it is that we just don't have right now. What we want more than anything is a boat in good shape, a boat that we can really sail, really like get a lot of adventures in the next coming years, and then have the time to edit videos too. I mean, that's the killer, man. We try not to get too meta with the channel, not talk too much about that side of it, but it takes us a lot of time, right? And so if we're also constantly working on the boat and constantly editing and filming, it gives us so little time to actually go out there and do stuff and sail and film it. And so we're really trying to push as far as we can on the, like, get out there, adventure, make videos. And so if we were to take the money that we'll have and buy a catamaran, it would be in significantly worse shape than if we bought a monohull with that money.
And then Cherry Tears is asking, are you guys still going to cross the Pacific?
Yes. Yeah, we're hoping to almost not get off track at all. I mean, we definitely won't be crossing this year. I'm like checking my watch, like, dude, it's December.
I don't even know what date
Look at
it
you.
is.
How do you not know what month it is? You know what I mean? Like,
it's been a very
what month is it?
Like strange month for us, so you're okay.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. So we wanted to try and cross this winter, spring-ish, and that's definitely not happening. But in all reality, like our friends John and Molly, they're pretty certain they're not crossing, just because with this spike in COVID, a lot of the South Pacific countries, they've kind of reversed a lot of their, like, that trend that everyone was starting to reopen. That's kind of reversed, and everyone's closing down a little again.
And on top of that, now it's really difficult / maybe impossible to get the extended visa for French Polynesia. So for those people who are crossing the Pacific this year, they only have, and Americans, they'd only have 3 months to get to the next hurricane hole, which isn't a lot of time. So there's just a lot, and I mean that's just the surface of it. Like, there are lots of reasons right now that going towards the South Pacific is less than ideal. So in all reality, we probably would have had to delay anyway. So we're hoping not this spring, but the following spring we'll be crossing the Pacific. And how that ends up happening, we're not sure. Maybe we buy a boat on the West Coast. We've talked about, potentially if we bought a boat, especially in like the Great Lakes, potentially just trailering it to the West Coast. If we buy a boat on the East Coast, then probably trying to get down to the canal. But long story short, crossing the Pacific is still very, very much
our main goal here.
Robert Flindle says, I think they should buy a cruise ship. Then we can all join them on their travels. That would be so awesome.
Yeah. Maybe that's Atticus 3.0.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Take this to the next level.
Yes. I want to do a couple more thank yous, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay, thank you so much, Kay Wickstorm or Quickstorm, Juan Andrade, Scott Gaup again, Heather and Vic, Warren Dromes, Greg Cox. He says, "Can I buy your Gallyware coffee mug? My wife loves them." Oh, that's awesome. You know, it would be so difficult to get that to you because I don't know how to send things from Panama to the States. But they have them on Atticus, if you look. And we're going to think about adding them to our merch store. But I think you just search, like, wide rim coffee mugs. No spill. Anyway, thank you, Dave Richmond. He says, Desbud, how are you feeling about the move to Atticus II at this point? Are you warming up to the idea? Feeling better, I hope.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. What do you think?
I will answer it. I thought you were going to say, that's a good question.
That's a great question, Dave.
Let me speculate.
If I were to... I would break that answer down into 3 parts.
Yeah. Category
Part 1. Well, you go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny because I was so just... this is how we are in our relationship. Like, I get comfortable where we are, and even though we travel a lot and we move to different places, change really freaks me out. And so I was just like so stuck on Atticus, and we had a patron live stream when we found out about the bulkhead, and you guys who were there probably saw me rooting for Atticus. But I think Jordan kind of sat down and saw it all the way through, you know, and was just like, this is not going to be the smartest thing for us going forward. And so it took me longer to get there. And it felt a little bit like a breakup, you know? But then, you know, when we launched the Kickstarter and just seeing everyone's excitement and really thinking that it would be possible and starting to allow myself to think about all the positive points that could come from Atticus II, now I'm starting to get really, really excited. And I'm really hoping we can find a new owner for Atticus who can, you know, continue what we started, and someone who, you know, will learn from Atticus as much as we did, because it was a great starter boat. She took care of us. She taught us a lot, and I think she really kind of made us better people, better partners to each other, and just really good workers, I think. She taught us a lot, so yeah. Yeah, I think you said it. Yeah. It was a hard transition, but we're both, I think we're both not just ready for a new boat, we're both ready for a new phase in our lives. Yeah.
You know, like the family thing was happening, and it was going to happen no matter what. It's just happening a little bit sooner. Yeah. So I think once we started thinking that way, it all kind of came together for us, you know.
Thank you, Bigfoot Van Life. Thank you, Boating Cavu. Thank you, Marjorie Hale. Thank you, Chad Saxton. Let's see. Yeah, he asked the same question about how I'm feeling about letting go of Atticus. And yeah, I'm totally on board now. It's funny, though, because our last day on Atticus when we were packing up, it was so weird. It was like we were both bipolar. You know, 1 minute we'd be so excited, and then the next minute I would like look back at the dock at Atticus like floating so gracefully, and I'd be like, oh. So yeah. Thank you, Billy Newport. Thank you, Zimbos Afloat, and Hugh Van Dyne. And thank you so much for your generous contribution, Hugh. You're amazing. And Scott Goop again. All right.
Scott Goop. Okay. And then we might as well just say, for those of you who are just joining us, we today are going to be giving away the amazing Guatemalan cowboy hat. And it's going to go to whoever contributes the largest Super Chat donation or the largest PayPal donation.
Which at this point looks like it's going to Billy Newman.
Billy
Newport.
Billy Newport. Okay, and he's coming in with he's got $100 Super Chat. Is that right? And
hope you like dancing and picking up chicks.
Yeah, and all of the donations and Super Chats tonight are going to go directly towards the Atticus II fund. We do need to get your thing.
It's funny because on our way back from Atticus in the airport, we had to take this baby, and we were just like babying it, you know. And so I'm going through the airport. Gosh darn it!
You keep talking.
I'm going through the airport just trying to make it stay on my head.
It was pretty funny going through an airport with Desiree wearing the cowboy
and
hat.
every time I bent over, it would come off. So
Yeah.
we will be sanitizing it
Yeah.
before we send it.
Yeah. All right, so we got a couple of great questions here. First of all, here we are. Seth says, are you going to keep a full keel or change over to a fin keel? And it's a great question, especially because I was such a big proponent of full keels earlier on in our adventure, and I have officially changed my view on those two options, and so we are going for a fin keel, or more specifically, we're looking for, I'd call it a modified fin keel, or a long fin keel. Basically, what I would like is more or less a fin keel that is substantially attached to the boat, so not a high aspect fin, but has a large amount of surface area where it's connecting to the boat, and so that you could really, what I want to be able to do is have a catastrophic grounding, like full speed right into some reef, and I want the boat to get super banged up and go sideways and like that, and then more or less be structurally fine, and to be able to get dragged off the reef and then sail away. And so, but what I also want from the fin keel is the ability to sail to windward, because the full keel, and some full keels are like beautifully designed, and that happens. But at the end of the day, a fin keel is going to, for the most part, going to sail better to weather, and it's going to, depending on the design, it can track just as well or better, especially because we are only considering boats that have a skeg hung rudder. So again, I plan on running aground. That is 100% in our future at some point. And so I want a very, very protected rudder as well. But yeah, and just Atticus taught me that it is a hard thing with a full keel, where sometimes you're thinking about passage planning and you're thinking about how the heck you're going to get out of wherever you are, and the wind's just always against you. And if you can't point better than like 60 degrees like Atticus, it gets really hard, and especially because you will go so slow on that point of sail. So, long story short, the sailing characteristics of a fin keel are something that I'm starting to prioritize more.
And I would say maybe mention John Kretschmer, because I think he definitely influenced you a lot in that kind of transition.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. John Kretschmer is starting to become one of the big influences for us in many ways, and so he's a great guy for like coming at sailing with a huge appreciation for older tradition, and then giving you ideas on how you can integrate that into more modern sail designs and hull shapes and everything else. And so, yeah, if you're curious to learn more about sailing and everything, I think John Kretschmer is a great author, and his book Sailing a Serious Ocean is such an amazing amalgamation of stories and advice, and he's even got a chapter on like what boats to look at.
And
that's
great. What I was gonna say. I've never seen an author do that. He just goes through, I think, like 30 or 40 boats that he really likes for seaworthiness and value, and then he'll talk about each one of them, and then boats that are similar to it. And that was super cool. So that's a cool book. Nori Nguyen Morris, not Nori. Morris says, can I ask you guys, where will you stay as you wait to purchase the boat? Sorry if I missed that. We're going to be renting a car and then probably staying with friends or Airbnbs. Or maybe some patrons, as we I was going to say sail, as we drive from Florida all the way up to, not Maine.
Right now, the furthest north we're going, is like Connecticut, Rhode Island area, but it's changing all the time. But that'll be interesting. Yeah, we've got a couple stops in North Carolina. We're going to stop in Annapolis. We're going to stop in, Rhode Island and Connecticut. We may be going to the Great Lakes. We may be going to Mexico. It's possible. So there's a lot of different stops that we're going to be making, and so it's just going to be a full-on road trip. You know what I mean? which is going to be fun for us. Like so right now we're in my parents' house we're in Florida, and it's been fun to like be in cars.
Yeah.
We went to Starbucks today.
I've been eating so much food too.
Yeah. It's a fun change of pace. Like there's one really cool thing about the boating lifestyle in general, and even more so living on a small boat, is it's a hard life. It can be hard, but man, you come back to the States, you come back to the first world, and you're just like blown away by the luxury, you know. So it's been fun, you know, and we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to looking at boats, and now Desiree won't be able to stop me from talking about them too. Normally in live streams and stuff, she's like, okay, that's enough. No one wants to hear you talk about that. Now I'm like, ha ha ha.
Boats.
We're talking boats. Boats.
Richard Bryan was asking, what, if any, equipment will you take off of Atticus? And most of the equipment on Atticus is specific to Atticus. And it is such a shame because, well, for us it's a shame. For the new owners of Atticus, it's a pretty sweet deal because we just installed a water maker, which we were saving up for like a year, and has never been used. So brand new water maker, brand new sails, brand new roller furling, brand new boom. Atticus is like in awesome shape for a brand new refrigerator. Like for someone who just wants to, you know, jump into, you know, this lifestyle, could be a pretty good deal, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, cool. So let's see here. I did want to answer. One person was asking here. Oh my gosh, of course I missed it. Somebody was asking, what's our favorite Christmas story on Atticus?
Christmas story?
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
Christmas experience. I would say for sure.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, you want to tell that because your family was there.
Yeah, so last year the Bocas Marina hosted a Bocas boat light parade, and I got real competitive because my family was going to be in town, so we just splurged. We went to the craft store and bought all these lights, and we came up with a concept which was under the sea because we wanted to be a little different than just, you know, like Christmas trees and stuff. So we did these like an ocean of blue lights and then these big fish, and then I dressed my sister up as Ariel and my brother up as Poseidon. And then we just went in a little boat parade and sang and lost our voices, and yeah, that was definitely the best Christmas we've had on Atticus. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally. We've had fun experiences, but that was just hard to beat. You know, like, and especially because it was not the whole family, it was her family. Like, just really working hard to meet this deadline, you know? It's like, we have 48 hours, you know?
And my family's really competitive, so I just told them I wanted to win, and they were like, okay.
Yeah.
To the extent that there was this cute little kid in the marina who was coming over to our table while we were, like, fabricating everything with Christmas treats for us.
Like
and she
cookies.
my mom thought he was a spy. Was like, he's looking at our stuff. Yeah. I'm like, Mom, cool it. Be nice to the little kid.
Leave the cookies. You get out of here. Yeah.
Like, what's in those cookies?
Yeah. But there is an episode about that one. I think it's called "'Tis the Season to Be Winning," and we highly recommend you check it out. It didn't do that well because it's kind of like a niche. You know, it's not so much about sailing and everything, but I like it a lot. Yeah. It's a fun episode. I'm sorry. I just did want to say a bunch of people are asking how much are we selling Atticus for. First of all, we have not sold Atticus yet. And second of all, we haven't really landed on a number. We're trying to gauge people's interest. We're toying with the idea of raffling the boat off. Just because, you know, okay, it's hard to sell a boat that like needs work, you know, needs substantial amount of work to it. It's hard to sell a 60-year-old boat that needs a lot of work to it. And then it's hard to sell one of those that's already in Panama. And so we're really understanding that it's going to require just the right kind of person to be interested in it. If you are interested in buying Atticus, email us at
iwantatticus@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And we'll send you the information when we decide to raffle.
Yeah.
Atticus out.
And so we're just kind of gauging people's interests at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know somebody who would be interested, have them email us, because nothing's out of the question at this point. Because I mean, to do it, you gotta kind of make a major life choice. Like I live in Panama now.
Yeah.
But it would be fun, right?
Yeah.
For the right person at the right stage of their life, that would be an amazing adventure.
I mean, even if you're just to live at the marina for a year, anyway. Okay, so a couple thank yous. We've got Dennis Massagey. We got Bill Sickick. Also, we got 3 people tying for this hat. We've got Dennis, Bill, and then who was he? Billy.
Just to mention, somebody said, because the amount has been adding. People have donated more than once. So we'll have to look into that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which will make it complicated, but we'll do it. We can do it. We'll just have to take a minute to do it at the end.
Yeah, or we might have to announce the winner after the end.
Okay.
We'll think about it.
We will figure that out.
Yeah.
All
okay.
right.
Thank you, Alex Jamaran. I always pronounce your name wrong. Sorry about that. Kat, thank you so much. Thank you, Joyce Payton. Thank you, Tori and Fong. Thank you, Tikrek Diver. Thank you.
Techrec, yeah.
Techrec. You want to take over?
John Ketchum, John Rhodes, Nicholas Kitchens, and it says, is your next boat going to have a diesel motor still? And yes, for the most part, at least for the time being, we're going with a diesel engine. Yvonne Rodriguez Camejo, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Cache Canada.
Hey, Dave.
It says Merry Christmas and Happy Sailing New Year. Juan Carlos Hema. Cat. Juan Carlos Hema again. All right, thank you. Yvonne Rodriguez Camejo. Billy Newport.
Again, $150 for the hat. Oh,
Yeah.
That'd be good. If you're donating for the second time, include your total.
That's perfect. Yes,
Yeah,
if you've
us.
donated more than once, include the total in your description. Robert Pett, Gibb, thank you very much. Chad Saxton, Robert Pett again, and if we could scroll up, please.
Yeah. So Chad has a question. He says, "What happens if your searching timeline passes 1 month? Are you willing to wait to find the right one?"
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think the answer is yes. As long as you guys are all enjoying the boat search videos, I think that's going to be a lot of it. Obviously, it's going to be a more niche audience that'll appreciate it. So if you're not into the boat buying process, we apologize. It's like a Band-Aid. Just, tear it off and then we'll be back to the normal stuff. But even if it took us a long time, that would mean like 2 months probably.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to try to get back to regular content as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But obviously not being stupid about it. Okay, thank you, Robert Pett. Thank you, Doggy's Pal. Thank you. Oh, Mike
Matthew.
You. Bonnie Lynn, Andy Zayas, Scott Gope again, 99 for the hat. And Bonnie Lynn.
Okay, very good. And so those of you who didn't catch it at the beginning, I think we decided that boat is the drinking word for today.
And
so
extrusion.
Those who did hear me are probably too drunk to like type anything right now. But for those of you who are just hearing about it, good luck. You can do it.
Ellen Fior is asking, how is wearing clothes every day, not just a bathing suit? It's pretty awesome. Like, I am usually sweating buckets. And so it's been nice to like wear my hair down a little bit and have long sleeves. And Jordan's wearing pants right now.
Yeah, I am wearing pants. This isn't like a Zoom meeting. I'm actually wearing pants. But yeah, it's fun. It's very it's funny because in the tropics, you can't really do anything to control how hot you feel, except for go for a swim.
Yeah.
You can go for a swim, but that's really it. Other than that, you can just try to wear as few clothes as possible. When it's cold, and don't get me wrong, when it's very cold, I get it. It's a bummer. But right now, like we were in Florida, we were in Atlanta a little bit ago, and like you can put a jacket on, and then you're comfortable, right? So that's been really enjoyable. You know what I mean? But That's probably, people are like, dude, you're in ideal weather right now.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Like, it's called ideal for a reason,
Yeah.
you know?
Jeff Owens is saying, still waiting for those Atticus yoga pants in the swag store. Good point. I forgot about those.
God, next Christmas, we've got to do like a cheesy Atticus sweater thing.
Yes.
Life goals, dude. Life goals.
Yeah. And then the next question was, what will the name of the boat, will the name stay with the boat for the new owner? That was Frank. And that would be cool. I wouldn't mind if whoever buys Atticus keeps it as Atticus. That'd be pretty cool.
Real quick, PJ Mullen said, I herb you. Boat word hurt now.
Boat word.
That's
Stop
great,
saying
PJ.
boat.
You're doing great, buddy. Stick in it. We believe in you.
Steve H says, if I donate $1,000 right now, can I have it? Oh, I don't know if that means the hat or the boat.
Yeah, good question. We don't want to answer the wrong thing here. But yeah, if you donate $1,000 right now, as it stands, I think the hat's yours.
That would definitely be the highest donation tonight.
Yeah.
Frank Tartan says, why are you downplaying Atticus's value? It is like you are coming up with an excuse to sell it cheap. It does not need a huge amount of work and has all major upgrades. It's in good condition, but really for us to feel, it just depends on your risk level. For us to feel comfortable in staying on Atticus to cross the Pacific, you'd have to replace the bulkhead, and that'd be a big project.
Yeah. So I think that, right. No, there's a lot in this comment. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to read it again. So he goes, okay, so why are you downplaying Atticus's value? It's like you are coming up with an excuse to sell it cheap. It does not need a huge amount of work and has all major upgrades. So the upgrades thing is very true. There's a lot of value in that boat outside of the fact that you really wouldn't want to just take it offshore right now. So the water maker, the new sails, the, like, you know, somewhat refurbished rig, you know. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going for that boat at this moment. So
almost brand new engine.
Exactly. But to me, the problem with a boat like that is it's hard to pay very much money for a headache, right? I mean, I'm like convincing people not to buy the boat. I think for the right person, it's a great boat to buy. Like for a person who doesn't mind going to Panama and spending like arguably, 2 to 3 months working on the boat, because this isn't like, you can't just jump in your car and run down to Home Depot and grab a couple things every other day. I mean, like, it's Panama, it's harder to get stuff done, but but just say, so like the kind of person that is willing to go to Panama, commit some time to it, this is a great boat for them, right? So I think that for the right person, it's a really good situation. As for us, though, we've been kind of saying this, a lot, which is in a different stage in our life, we might have been that person. And at this stage in our life, we're not those people, right? We're taking that next step into trying to raise a family and do that whole thing just a little bit earlier than we thought. And because it'd be hard to justify putting the time and effort into it.
Yeah, I think we are still like those people in the sense that we, have taken the lessons that we've learned from Atticus, which is you put the work in and you benefit from it. But it's more of a timing issue for us, And so if we're going to be spending more time and more money on a boat and we know we're going to be upgrading, we might as well just make the change now. And I think that's why it was hard for me to make that change, because it seemed like such a big step. But now that I'm looking back at it, I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, maybe we should have done this a little bit earlier.
Real quick, Danielis Gonzalez, thanks for watching. We really appreciate you. And then one other thing, Daniel Oliver made a great point, saying Pacific Seacraft 37s have a great resale value for when you upgrade to a bigger family boat. And that's a good point. Pacific Seacraft 37s really hold their value, which is tough when you're trying to buy one, but it's for a reason, right? People know that those boats age well, I think. But the other thing that he was saying that I think is a great point is when we upgrade to a bigger family boat, which is something that is, I guess you'd say, like something that we're integrating into our thought process here, which is we're not trying to get a boat that we're going to raise teenagers on, right? I mean, that's kind of the approach we've taken to it. Because teenagers need a lot more space, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're physically larger and they, want personal space in ways that like kids don't. So the point being that we're thinking in like the next 10 years. That's what we're doing. Like we're our goal is finding a boat that would be right for us for 10 years. And so that's why the Pacific Seacraft 37's even on the list, because that quarter berth is relatively small. It doesn't have its own door, but it's the kind of thing where it's like we've heard a lot of boat families tell us that, hey, kids just don't need their own space for a long time.
Yeah, when they're little.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on that, by the way, guys?
Yeah.
You guys have families. You guys have kids. Let us know what you think about like having a relatively small quarter berth and like throwing a kid in the cave kind of thing.
Ron Patrick's asking, are you taking little shit with you? And yes, that is the plan. We left it in storage in Panama, so when we go back to get all of our stuff, we're going to figure out how to like rent a container to ship all of our stuff to Atticus II, wherever that may be. At this point, we have no idea where that will be.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting experience. That's one of those experiences that's like, it'd be tough to really make that an episode, because it has nothing to do with sailing. But like, that sort of thing, like trying to figure out how to ship large amounts of things from one country to another, always an interesting experience.
Sandra Lee is asking, are you pregnant? And unfortunately, no. But we are going to start trying, which will be really exciting. Yeah, we've I kind of was of the mentality I wanted to cross the Pacific before trying to have kids. But if we're going to be delayed another year, I figure we might as well start now.
Yeah, like we're not like planning on having kids before we cross the Pacific. It's just that we're not like, we're kind of done just waiting and trying to plan it perfectly. And again, like we're planning on sailing with kids for like minimum 10 more years. And so it's just like, let's just get the whole shebang started, let's just jump into the deep end,
Yeah, I'm turning 35 this year, so it's probably time.
Yeah. So I'm getting a lot of people saying that, bigger boat would be better. Some people saying 42 feet. Let's see here. Oh gosh, sorry. Well, you go ahead.
Okay.
You have a comment.
This is a really good question. Bobby was asking his number one sailing couple. I wanted to ask, is it possible to go to sailing school, then buy a boat and immediately set out for the seas? Or do you advise to gain practice elsewhere before doing that?
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
So he's asking, can you just take a sailing course or two and then buy a boat and then head out to the sea immediately? Or do you advise gaining experience elsewhere before doing that?
Boy, it's kind of a catch-22 in so many ways, because if I were to say, try to gain some experience,
it's hard.
So often you don't actually gain the experience you need.
And if you don't own a boat, then what are you going to be sailing?
Right. Because let's just say you chartered some sort of an offshore sailing trip. You might learn a little bit of something. Like what you'd probably learn is just what the vibe is like, what it feels like to be offshore. But you won't learn what it's like to be entirely responsible for what's going on. And you might see the captain problem solve one or two things, and you could take note of that and learn from it. But I think that in so many ways, just doing baby steps is probably the best thing. You know what I mean?
That being said, our friends on Ruby Vi, they took an extensive amount of sailing courses, sold everything and bought a boat, and then headed out to sea, and there's
how many sailing classes did they take, do you know? I'm just curious, like what level did they get?
They did ASA 101 to 105, I think.
Okay, so the first handful.
Yeah. And then they just bought their boat and
Gosh, I wish we could ask them.
Yeah.
That'd be because now they're at that point where they could say if it was worth it or not. I mean, if you've got the money and the time, go for it. Like, especially if you know you've got another year or two before you're gonna set sail. It's a fun thing to do on the weekends anyway, right?
The other thing you could do, which you always suggest for people, is to join a sailing club or a racing club if there's any body of water near you, and just like race as much as you can.
Yeah, or sail as much as you can, period. Because to me, that's the thing, is if you can sort of internalize all the concepts of what sailing is and what it means, offshore sailing it's not different from that, really. You know what I mean? It's just offshore sailing is learning how to do that day in, day out when you're kind of uncomfortable and you're sleep deprived, right? And so now you're going to have to like incorporate all these different kinds of knowledge into a moment where it's all you're in a less than ideal scenario, I guess. And so I just think that do as much sailing as you can, learn as much as you can, read as many books as you can for sure, because you can learn so much from books. It's nuts. And then try to do baby steps, do an overnighter, do like a 2 overnighter, do 3 nights, do 4 nights, right? Like, and like, as you're doing those, like have an idea of like, if things get weird, where you'll tuck in, to cut the trip short. I think that's a totally legitimate way to learn this
and
stuff.
There's also websites where you can, I used to tell people to go to Crew Finder, but I heard that's a little bit like skeezy now, but there's another one where you can like crew on boats, and the captains for whatever reason are vetted better, and so that's kind of an interesting way to do it. If you have a year or maybe 6 months and you just want to learn what it feels like, that's a good option. And then if you can afford it, they've got some really cool offshore sailing programs in the world right now. You could do an offshore sail with Andy Schell, with Sail Libra, which we did. You could do it with John Kretschmer if you can track him down. So
there are options like that. I would say that those experiences would be really great for someone who's really worried about what it will be like offshore. For someone who's really, really concerned about what they'll think of it in general, that's a great opportunity to see firsthand exactly what it's going to be like.
The other nice thing about that kind of program also, though, is it's so easy to romanticize this lifestyle and to romanticize passages, but they feel different to everyone. So it's an essential part of the cruising lifestyle to have to do passages. So in a way, it's nice to know if you like it, if you enjoy it, before you invest all that time. So
yeah, good point.
Another way to think about it.
But we should preface this by saying that we're not very accomplished offshore sailors. We've done a lot of really cool stuff. We've had some amazing adventures. But our actual offshore sailing miles is a lot less than probably that's such a hard thing to say. Let's just put it this way. There are a lot of sailors out there that know way more about offshore sailing than we do. I wouldn't say we're anywhere near the upper tier of people. And so the point being that we're kind of those people. Like, we're figuring this out, right? And like, I came into this with what I would call a pretty firm understanding of sailing in general. And then because of the refit that we did on Atticus, I knew a lot about boat systems. And that's it. That's pretty much it. And so we were able to just combine our experiences with that knowledge and a huge amount of research to so far successfully, deal with the different challenges that we've had, So yeah, and I'm sorry, this is such an interesting topic though. Like, a couple people are saying that like they grew up racing and like they feel like it's really different from offshore sailing. And I totally agree, with the exception of like, what's an example? Like, because the problems that you have to face when you're offshore, in our experience, are so like, they're weird, they're small. So you'll be sailing, and then like the boat will just be really like uncomfortable, and the motion will be bad, and then you'll realize like, you know what, like, we probably should like change out our head sail at this point. Like we're just getting, there's too much like lee helm or whatever. And so you do that, and then the ride is a little bit better. Like, was it life or death? No. But like now the boat's more comfortable. You're going to be more well rested. Your risk level went down marginally. And you probably would know to do that if you were like a one design racer, right? Like you would have the sense that you've got too much lee helm or whatever. So all I'm trying to say is that, the whole cruising offshore thing, it's hard to teach it because it's just this mishmash of everything,
But that's also what's cool about it. Once you gain the confidence and get out there and get through a passage and problem solve and throw up maybe and arrive at the safe harbor, you feel good about it. Thank you so much, Michael Novakowski. Thank you, Colin Moore. He says he likes the antlers. Thank you again, Chad Saxton. Extrusion.
Boat.
He says, is there a minimum amount of extrusion you want Atticus II to have? That's so awesome.
That's funny.
Mark Graham, thank you so much. Thank you, Scott Gaup, again. Thank you, Ron Miller. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. I'm drunk, LOL. Thank you, Jeff Owens. Thank you so much, Sailing Nola. Bob Stuth. Thank you, David Hannington. Alex Ilgin. Want to take over? Thank you, JC.
Can you scroll up?
Ooh, boy. Yeah.
And we got Clint's 30, Nicholas Kitchens, Bonnie Lynn, thank you very much. Jeff B. Can you read that? Lisa Repack, Chris H.
Oh, sorry.
SCYZ, what's up, buddy?
Scott.
And Mike Logan. So thank you guys very much.
Awesome. And then Jeff B was saying, I know how hard it is to let go, but sometimes letting go is the right thing. 15 years ago, I sold my dream home to find a better way of life for my wife and kids. I have gained 2 wonderful son-in-laws for my daughters and another daughter. That's sweet.
Very sweet, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that story. Yeah. It feels really good.
Okay, so real quick here, I did see somebody, here we are, Russell asks, what type of rig are you looking at? I think a cutter gives the best results. And it's kind of funny because, we're just talking about sailing offshore, and for that reason, because we plan on doing a lot of offshore sailing, I do like a cutter rig. I think that's what we would ideally be looking for. And the reason for that is we've been in a handful of situations now where we're sailing, things are going well, then the wind picks up and things get scary. Like, it's like, oh God, this sucks. You know what I mean? Like, you're moving too fast, you're heeling over too much, and the forces and the motion is just really annoying and crappy. And then all of a sudden, if you can just reduce your sail area to the appropriate amount, all of a sudden the world just feels doable again. It feels like you can take on this challenge, right? And nothing changed except for the amount of sail area that you have up. Now, okay, it sounds obvious, but a cutter makes it so that you can do that in a snap, right? All you gotta do is furl up that jib and then keep the staysail out and then reef your main. So the only real thing that takes any amount of time is reefing the main. And you can make that pretty quick too. So long story short, I love that idea to be able to just, quickly and efficiently have very little sail up. I like that. Yeah.
Max Davies says, how did you gain so much knowledge about all the electrical aspects of Atticus? Did you go to school for that? And I'm going to start tallying up the hat people.
Okay, you want to just mention it real quick?
Can you do it while I start?
Sure. So, guys, before we answer that, we are coming up to the end of the live stream, and tonight we are giving away the lovely, amazing Guatemalan cowboy hat. I'm going to miss this thing so much. I can't believe we carried this on Atticus this far. Like, we don't have the space for this at all. But yeah, we are going to be giving away the cowboy hat to the person who donates the largest super chat or PayPal, and all proceeds are going to be going to Atticus II. All right, so and this is where it's really important, guys. Where if you're in the running, make sure you put your total donation number.
This feels different.
In your you're like, this smells bad. What happened? Make sure you put your total donation number in your comment. All right, What question did you ask?
About the electrical. How do you know you're getting your electrical knowledge? Yeah,
right. So I learned just about everything I know from the book, the 12-volt Bible, the 12-volt electrical Bible. I don't think it's like, the best book ever written. So in all reality, just from a book about 12-volt systems. And I did not do a good job of it on Atticus. It works. Everything works for the most part. But behind the breaker panel on the boat, I'm not proud of what's back there. Like it is not pretty. And in so many ways, like, to me, that's half of what doing a good job with electrical on a boat is being tidy about it, being really organized. And so in that department, I failed. But the next time I do it, I'll do it a lot better. So, I mean, yeah, just research, man. Just reading. I feel like there's no shortcut, because that could be my explanation for pretty much every system on Atticus, whether it be plumbing, cabinetry stuff, like, woodworking, the working with metal. All that stuff was just reading and being forced to do it at some point, So if I were to say anything about it, though, I don't know if you guys have read Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It's a really cool book. It's a very unique kind of book, so you might not like it. Look into it before you read it. But he says something really cool in the book where he says, like, in order to do a really good job maintaining a motorcycle, you have to first become the kind of person that does a good job maintaining their motorcycle. And so he talks about how when he gets flustered, right, when he gets too worked up and he like feels like he's going to start going too quickly and start to make mistakes, he'll force himself to slow down, right? And I've been there so many times with projects where I'm just like, I just want to get this thing done. It's like 4:00. If I really push, I could get it done in an hour before, I'd like to stop working for the day. And so I'll just be rushing. And what he says is when that happens to him, he'll force himself to slow down and like clean some threads with like a tap and die set or something. So do like even deeper maintenance that makes you work even slower. And I feel like that's my advice for anyone trying to learn any system on a boat, is like focus on becoming the kind of person that would do a good job at that, right? So like, don't get in a rush. Try not to get down on yourself. Try not to judge yourself, right? And like recognize that it's going to take a while to learn this stuff. I really think that that's the key to all of this stuff. Okay, it's funny that I got away with like saying all of that because if Desiree wasn't busy, there's no way that would have just happened. It's so funny. Oh, Jordan. Okay.
By the way, Scott Gaup is ahead by 3:48. Then we've got Billy Newport at 150. We've got Yvonne Rodriguez at 200. Okay. And then I gotta look up what the Australian conversion is because
you're sure that's Australian?
This is A300.
Alex Ilgen, would you mind letting us know what currency that was in? Can I click on it? Yeah, it just says A.
What's that?
I don't know.
Special.
Yeah. Could you just like do a Google search on it? Okay, so what else do we have here, guys? While we're waiting for the lucky winner of the cowboy hat, which I'm very excited about. Let's see. Life on the Water says, where did you get the PJs? My mom bought these for us in preparation of this live stream. So I don't think it was actually the live stream. I think it was just Christmas in general.
I have no idea what A is.
Well, it's not Euro. Try Australian.
Well, AU is Australian. Which would mean it would be $218.
Search Google Super Chat A currency. Okay. Anybody else know? Okay, Greg Cox says it's Australian dollar. Brad Scott says it's Aussie. Oh, yeah. So there's a very good chance it's Australia.
Okay, so if that's the case, then we've got 300 AU to USD
Scott says it means American.
America.
That's so awesome.
227.
Oh, man.
Okay,
Oh, my hat's messing with the focus. Okay. Sorry, guys. Here. Oh boy. I don't know. Might just have to deal with it. Jason Larvik is asking, what is our favorite anchorage? You can keep doing what you're doing.
I got the winner right here.
You got the winner.
Yeah, the winner.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's this lovely hat going to, buddy?
The winner. Why don't you say it?
Okay. This beautiful hat. Very good. Will be going to Scott Gaup. Thank you so much, Scott, and thanks for your donation towards Atticus II. We really appreciate it. We will sanitize this baby up. Jordan and I are going to sign it, and then we'll ship it over to you. So if you can send me an email at des@projectatticus.com with your your home address, that would be awesome.
Okay, awesome.
Congratulations.
Well, guys, that was a ton of fun. We are going to be doing more live streams over the course of our boat search. So definitely can't wait to see you guys on those. We also are giving away 2 more really cool items. Do we have them?
They're like packed in our bags.
Yeah, they're
One
very
of them will be this. A cleaner version of this.
Yes, so we are going to finally be giving away a cool Jordan's tattoo hat, which you might remember. This always happens. I can't. There you go. That's the tattoo. That's the hat. So we're going to be giving away that cool thing. Not this one. This one smells bad. You don't want it. You do not want that.
If you want it, we can send it to you. But I don't think
if you want it. Yeah. I'll take the new one. But anyway, and then we also, this is going to be a fun one for people who've been watching for a long time. If you remember the Atticus video, the Battle of the Channels video that we did with Sailing Uma, we had a challenge where it was me and Dan tried to see who could barter the best in Mexico. And so we were trying to get the best deal on a small ceramic skull, and Dan totally killed me. Like he wiped me out, man. It was awful. And we have the actual skull that we bought. And gosh, that was years ago. Again, it's just been riding along with us. So we're going to be giving away the little skull. And then finally, we are going to be giving away the little coral necklace that I made. And it's in a video from back in the Belize videos when we were in the atolls off of Belize. So 2 really cool giveaways. We're going to be doing, one thing per live stream. So definitely check that out. Daniel Oliver's like, Uma extrusion. I'm loving the extrusion thing, man. This is great.
Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Mark Graham says he's at $3.98 with PayPal. And I thought this interface gave me PayPal donations as well. So I'll have to check on that. So if you can also send me an email at des@projectatticus.com, I will check on that and let both of you guys know.
Yeah, and really, we kind of came up with this idea kind of quickly, and it, hopefully we didn't upset anybody with. We thought this thing that Desiree's looking at was showing us everything, and so if you have any issues with how this went, email us and we'll.
I want my hat.
And we'll sort something out. Yeah, so email us, let us know what your thoughts are on it, and we'll definitely make sure everybody goes home happy.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, well, cool guys. Thank you so much for watching tonight. That was a lot of fun. We didn't get through nearly as much. There's just so much happening, right? Like there's so much new stuff with us, with Project Atticus, with the boats and everything. Desiree again is not pregnant. I've seen that a couple times, just so everybody knows.
I have been eating a lot though.
Right? Yeah. Well, no, you're looking good, buddy.
Yeah,
looking good. But anyway, so we can't wait to see you guys on the next live stream. And one more, just kind of in case you haven't heard us talk about it yet, we just want to say thank you so much for helping us out with the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
It's meant so much to us that you've helped us reach the goal, that Atticus II is going to be possible, that we're going to be able to make to this next chapter in Project Atticus. The Kickstarter is not going anywhere. It's going to be there for another think 30 days.
Till January 21st.
So if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely check it out. All the money that goes into that is going to go into the next boat, and just making it so that we can get a boat that's in better condition, that will allow us to do more adventuring, more sailing, and more making awesome content. So we're looking forward to it all. So happy to have you with us, and
we'll see you. Our next video will come out on the 31st, and we're going to try to return to weekly videos in January. So we will see you every week in January. And if not, we will try to do a live stream on the week that we skip, which we're hoping we won't have to.
Stargate Pioneer's like, wait, Jordan's pregnant? I did feel like I was really glowing.
Yeah,
I mean, I was like, wow, look at that.
Yes.
But now we know why.
Yeah. Mystery solved.
Mystery solved. Okay.
Also, George B was asking, what is the email to buy Atticus? And that is iwantatticus@gmail.com.
We should probably just make all of the possible ways you could say that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to buy Atticus at gmail.com.
And ADDICUS.
And give me that boat at gmail.com. Yeah, right, exactly.
Also, thank you so much, Dave, so much tonight for being with us since the very beginning. You are amazing. Guys, Dave is joining us from Ireland, so it's super late there right now, probably freezing his little tush off. But I hope you're having a great holiday season with your family, Dave, and thank you so much for being with us here tonight. We've also got Darla, who is helping Dave tonight do some moderating. So thank you so much, Steve and Darla from Sailing SB Someday.
Yeah.
And yeah, we will catch you guys next live stream. If you never want to miss a live stream, you can text the word Atticus to the number 43506, which is also in the description below, and we will send you a text notification if you're in the USA about an hour and a half before every live stream. So.
Yeah, so I'm looking at you, Chris B. He says, I want the Umaticus skull.
Oh,
so you gotta text that number so you definitely won't miss it.
All right, guys, it's been so fun, and again, just thank you so much for the support that we've received. Just getting to read all of your comments and supportive emails has been so nice, and hearing people have been through similar experiences as we have, having to sell a boat that they're in love with, essentially, has been really, really nice. And yeah, thank you so much, and we will see you soon.
That is just so true. Like, it's like, I feel like every night that we've been like going through this process and traveling, and then now here with our family, like almost every night before we go to bed, Desiree will just be like, can you believe this message? And then read it to me. And they've, like, your guys' support and your guys' like actual like in-depth messages of telling us your experiences and encouraging us, they do mean a huge amount to us. So thank you very, very much. Yeah.
And thank you again to our patrons. You guys have been so amazing through this whole process. It was really fun, just those first couple of days getting through.
Mom, you want to come say Merry Christmas?
Jordan's mom is saying Merry Christmas, but she's not dressed.
She's not dressed.
Well,
so
maybe next time we go live, we'll bring out Rita and Steve.
You sure, Mom? Mom?
You can come with a bag over your head.
One last chance. Okay.
All right.
Maybe next time.
See you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Okay.